I'm showing 12:01. Pedro, I will, in an effort to keep us kind of on time here and to give you the 30 minutes to kind of do a demo and an overview of Sunu Band, I'll kind of push pause there. And welcome Pedro, coming to us from south of the border today in Mexico, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Great. Awesome. Go ahead, Pedro. I'll turn it over to you, and the 30 minutes is yours. For those of you that are attending, just a reminder, if you do have a question for Pedro, throw it in the chat box. Pedro, I'll keep an eye on that for you. And when you see my face come back up on the screen, that means somebody has a question.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so my name is Pedro. I'm here presenting Sunu. Number one, I want to thank Dustin for inviting us to this panel. I will be showing you guys what the Sunu Band is. I have it just right here. So maybe if some of you have heard of it or maybe not, I'm going to tell you in a few moments what this is and what it does, okay? So to start with, Sunu, it's a company that develops assistive technology for the blind and visually impaired, okay? So the Sunu Band, which is now our second product, allows you to detect upper body obstacles. So it is designed to be worn in either arm in conjunction with a guide dog or a white cane. So this way you can in, um, augment your awareness on your surroundings, okay? So this is the product. How is it worn, or how do you put it on? Just as a small watch, okay? You put it like this, just as I'm doing it right now. And it has a few functions, okay? The main core or the main ability that you will have is the obstacle detection. How? So number one, with this round metal cylinder that you can see here, it's where it is emitting vibrations that bounce off all the objects and come back to you, and then that you feel as a way of vibrations, okay? I have here a small video. It's a 30-second video, so you can see more or less how it's used. Let me see if I can share my screen. Dustin, can I share my screen?
Yes, yeah. If you go down to the very bottom of the Zoom window, there's a little green box that says share. If you click that, it'll open up another window that you will be able to select the video or the web page or the application that you want to share.
Give me one quick second. Start share. Okay. Sure.
And sometimes the audio doesn't come through great. I'll let you know if it's not for some reason, but we are seeing your screen now.
Okay, so this is a 40-second video, which I wanted you guys to show you so you can have more or less a real picture of how it's worn and how it's used, okay? So here we go.
Yeah, unfortunately, Pedro, we aren't getting the audio, but if you want to let it play, I think it kind of gives people a visual of kind of what's happening there.
I'm sorry, what was that?
We weren't getting the audio from the video. Occasionally that does happen on Zoom. So I don't think it's anything on your end. It just occasionally happens in Zoom.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry for that.
No, that's okay.
So, well, pretty much what you can see here, it's, well, this guy holding a cane in his right arm and the Sunu Band on the left arm. Okay, so that's exactly what it looks like for a user when it's out and about. This way, if you're at a park, even if it's busy, maybe a train station or something, you can be protected, upper body and lower body, both. Okay, so And just moving on, we as a company, we started back in 2013. As Dustin mentioned, we have two offices. Our headquarters are in Boston, Massachusetts, and we do the logistics here in Mexico. So the product, it's been in the market for 2 years now, and it's been an ongoing process. Though it's our second product, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it. And every once in a while, maybe 4 or 5 months, we send updates through a firmware. So just by linking your phone with the Sunu Band, you get just the updates along with new features and so on. So now we are 15 people here on our team. And here's more or less how it works. This is the depiction of how it works. So you can, by default, let's say, get or catch obstacles in front of you, but also move it to the sides, for instance. And this way you can detect what's on your sides.
So Pedro, actually, I have a question. You had
Me.
mentioned how software updates are done through a phone. Does the person or the user have to have a phone on them while they're using the band, or does the band function independent of the phone? The phone is just used for updates.
Okay, actually, that's actually my next point.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So the product, no, it's fine, it's fine. So the product can be used as a standalone device. This actually the elder used to tend to use only the product. When you have the product by itself, you will only have the watch as well as the obstacle detector, and that's it. I'm going to tell you exactly how it's used. It has two buttons. The big button on one side turns it on, and the other one activates the sensor. So we have two modes. Whenever you're going to use it, you can change the beam for a shorter one or a large one just by swiping in or swiping out with your finger, just as I'm doing it right now. That's how you swipe between modes. So if you're out and about, you can use the larger beam. It's called outdoor mode. And if you just got home and want to use short distances, you just swipe in and enter indoor mode. Now, if you want to have more features, such as the compass app, so like the video where we saw where this guy was just lifting his arm and moving around, that's how the compass is used, okay? Not just that, we have 9 different features at the moment, such as alarms, phone finder, pedometer, place finder, and some others, okay? So we have now 2 options, with or without a phone. If you would like to keep it updated, you can do that. Some of our users, for instance, if it's as a gift, for instance, some people go to their mother's house or grandmother's house. They every periodically they update the Sunu Band, and that's it. Okay, but it's not a must. So the vibration, which is what I was saying a little bit, is going to change depending on the obstacle between me and the obstacle in front. So whenever something is on my way, the vibration is going to change as I'm getting closer. So for instance, if I'm queuing, if I'm waiting in line, and the person that is next to me just steps forward, the vibration, not exactly the intensity, but the constancy of it is going to change. So our users actually have to adapt or to learn what the vibration is telling. This learning curve usually takes about 2 to 3 days, but it's actually also in some cases in 1 day you can understand what the vibration is telling you. So with that being said, we have a haptic watch. Just by swiping, you know the time. The audio is also through the phone. So we have, let me just go back a little bit. You have two types of feedback. The product does not speak. All the feedback that you get out of it, it's going to be through haptics, vibrations. However, if you would like to get audio feedback, it'll be only with the phone, through the speakers of your phone. So you have, for instance, alarm, the compass, the detection, and also sonar configuration. What does this mean? You can, for instance, personalize and customize the range between you and the obstacles. Because if your space, maybe your flat department or anything, you've got a lot of furniture, naturally the Sunu Band will be picking up all the obstacles. So if you reduce the sensitivity of the Sunu Band, you can only be advised of obstacles that actually that you care about or that are close enough for you to run into them, let's say. So I just have this. This is what the app looks like whenever you actually, if you go to Play Store or App Store, you can look it up as Sunu. It'll come up there. It's free. You download it, and there it is. So for instance, we have an option here which says,
Oh, hey, Pedro, we're still seeing the video that you had up, not the.
oh,
So I think you would basically just do that, same thing again, hit the share button, and then find the program or the page that you were wanting to share.
okay, give me 1 second. Can you see me now? Or I'm sharing the.
We're still seeing the video that you had played earlier.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, somebody said if you stop share, there we go. We've got it now.
Okay.
Tip,
I'm sorry for that.
No worries, no worries.
Alrighty. So, for instance, this is an example I had here for of what the Sunu Band looks like. So, for instance, if you download it, you will see 4 main options, which is an option for you to change the intensity of the haptics, the vibrations, the voice service, the place finder, and the app detection. However, on the bottom, you will see all the apps. For instance, alarms, obstacle detection, gestures, the haptics, which is the intensity, voice service, and calibration. Before I move forward, I want to ask if you guys can see my screen or myself.
Yes, we can see you and the
okay.
that you've got put together. Yep. Yeah.
Perfect. So, for instance, I wanted to show you more or less how it works. So, I'm going to put it on real quick.
And for those of you that are on, if you want to see his image any much larger, at the top of his picture, there is 4 different icons. Just click the big one and it'll make his webcam view larger.
Okay, well, so I already put it on and it's already paired with my phone. So the first feature I wanted to show you, which might be really useful even for me, but for the blind, it's quite useful. This feature got released after it was already in the market, and it was thanks to a feedback from a user who said, okay, I have my phone with me and also my Sunu Band, but sometimes I tend to lose my phone or I don't know where I left it. So we release a new update with this feature. So just by pressing and holding one button, as I'm doing here, your phone starts whistling. This way, you know where to find it. And when you find it, just click the home button again. And that's how you turn it off. So as I was saying, we have haptic feedback, which are the vibrations, but also audio feedback. So you can hear where you are and what you're doing. For instance, when I press the home button, home, you hear also home, which is where you are. If you double click, menu, place finder app, to start double tap. You click the menu so you can access the apps that are available through the touchpad. This way, Compass app to start double tap. When you swipe, either way you can place finder app to start double tap. You surf through the apps. Now, for instance, entering place finder app. The place finder is going to search for the places that are nearby. For instance, on the app we have a list, just like we have here on the other screen. ATMs, bank, pharmacy, restaurants, malls, stores, and so on. This way you can switch on the ones that you want and turn off the ones that you don't want to listen or know about. So for instance, I'm going to turn it on again. Menu, place finder app, to start double tap. Home. Okay. Menu, place finder app, to start double tap. Home. Okay, give me just a second because before doing so, we have to do a calibration. This allows us to activate the compass that it's inside. Battery level at 90%. And also, well, the GPS location. Menu, place finder app, to start double tap. Compass app, to start double tap. Home. Okay. Home. Menu, place finder app, to start entering, place finder app. So the place finder. Store. Open book. Uniforms y bordadas Malacca. Shopping mall. Open book. No subway station nearby. ATM. Bank. Restaurant. Sanchez Alidas. So once you know for instance, if you want to look for a restaurant, you see the options there. Store. Open book. Home. We have 16 languages right now. The app, for instance, can be set up in 16 languages. For instance, English is the most used, but we have different languages too. Now, another one that I wanted to show you is the Compass app, which menu, place finder app, to start Compass app, to start double tap. Home. So for first-time users, we have yeah, no, it's fine. I'm seeing also here the questions. Great. Number one resource is what you receive when you get the package. That's a small booklet and in which you can read. It's not completely braille, but with help of someone, you can learn step by step of everything that's included in the box. Now, also, whenever you complete the order, you get a digital copy of the quick guide so that you can know how to use it as well. We have YouTube videos as well on the tutorials, and also we offer over the phone assistance.
Oh, great. And that was actually going to be my question. So Julie, thank you for that question. How are you? I know that you have actually deployed this with one of the providers that we're doing this pilot program with in Wichita, Kansas. What was that experience like for them, and how did you train her? Because I know that she is not the woman that is doing that is required some assistance. How did you guys help them and the individuals that are using those in that project?
Well, she reached out to me via email, and we scheduled a meeting, a 30-minute meeting. But first and prior to the meeting, I shared with her all our digital content, as well as the one that I mentioned, which is the quick guide. So she was playing also with the product the first days. So by the time I have her on the phone, she could just go over her questions really quick. Of course, I was explaining more or less how to use it. She was like, yes, I know how to do this. Let's go to the next topic, and so on. So she could do it also quickly. This way, she was telling me, oh, I didn't know how to do this. How about this? And that's how we more or less question Q&A kind of thing. But also, did you know that you can do this? Can you try to stand up and back up a little bit? Do you see the difference between the vibration when you are close or when you're far away from an obstacle? Ah, yes, I can sense that, and so on.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So what we have here in actually about 6 weeks from now, it's a new release on our app. This app has 3 new different features, which will allow all of our users to have 3 more apps aside from the ones that we have. Number 1 is called Landmarks. Landmarks is an option that will allow you to save your home address, maybe your work address, maybe a relative's address, or in this way you can go from point A to point B, and not exactly something that is on Google. Place Finder is the actual option to look up a place from your phone and see, okay, if I want to go to a Starbucks, you look it up as a Starbucks, and whenever there is a Starbucks around, it'll give you directions, as well as the navigation. The navigation, it's divided in 2 new apps. No, it's completely for free. It's completely for free. The only thing you have to do is just look it up on the app, and it says it gives you the option to update it. But no, so far, since these 2.5 years, it's all the updates, every single one is being for free.
And you got one more question that came in there about the cost and funding available.
Funding, I will have to actually ask you more details about your question so I can make sure that I'm answering your question correctly. But about funding the company, is this correct?
No, I think that they're looking for probably funding available for individuals with disabilities to purchase the device.
Oh, okay. So, well, number 1, we have the option to purchase it on the website, and you can split up the payments. That's directly with us, for instance. However, with clinics, which are the organizations that we partner with, usually offer maybe devices for free. Of course, they subsidize the devices. Or we have also some other options in which the assurance does or files a request for a product, for a device, as a medical device. Those are the options that we have had during this time.
Do you have
Cost is, yep.
distributors in the United States that are certified AT providers in specific areas through the state's Medicaid waiver programs, or?
We have a different clinics in the United States, but I don't have in the top of my mind exactly which one people can go and see, because actually the process that we currently follow is, okay, me as a user, I go ask to my clinic, to my O&M, and they get in touch with us. So it's just like a triangle, let's say.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and I think that I don't want to speak for every single state's Medicaid waiver service definition for assistive technology, but I feel that this would be covered. It would just be finding someone that can make the purchase from Sunu and facilitate that transaction. So.
Yes. So let me just ask this question. As we were saying, you have the option to hear where you're at. But for instance, when you're out and about, you will hear the directions. X amount of feet towards north, this turn, and once you get to that direction, you get audio and also feedback. So the aftershocks are the option for you to just bundle it with some headphones, but any Bluetooth headphones, or even if they're hardwired, will do.
Okay, so you do sell headphones that would go along with it.
Yeah.
Just Bluetooth headphones that could use any Bluetooth. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. We were bundling with aftershocks
Gotcha.
because they don't block your ears. So yeah, that's the question.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you all for the questions that are coming in. Please, if you have any other ones, go ahead and throw them there in the chat. But Pedro, I don't want to interrupt your flow here too much.
Yeah. So well, that's actually the latest or the last news that we have on our new updates that are coming in their way in the next weeks. So even if you guys right now try to update or just download the app, you'll find the option to download it. And then in the next week, even if you don't have the Sunu Band or you are not a user, but you can have more or less an idea of what it does. And then whenever the update comes, you can see the difference between both. This is what I was saying. Place Finder, nearby places, the compass, and your favorites are the new options that you have. So also, and at last, we've been right now in more than 28 countries. Right now we have, for instance, Perkins, American Printing House for the Blind, and so on. Like we have a few in Europe, Latin America, Brazil, and in the US, and also right now Canada, and also Australia.
Actually, I have a question for you, Pedro. Having experienced this firsthand, literally, I had one on my wrist. I was at the ATIA, excuse me, the ATIA
Yes.
convention hall, and put it on, and I was walking past a booth, and it would indicate to me through the haptic feedback that I was, standing next to a table. And then as I continued through the exhibit hall and there was a space, it wouldn't do anything. And then as I got next to another booth, it would do that. And the feedback was fairly intuitive. Having never used it, just putting it on, it was fairly intuitive for me. What experience do you guys have using this for adults with intellectual developmental disabilities, and can they quickly recognize the differences in the haptic feedback?
Okay, well, yes, we have different, actually a vast variety of users. And me personally, that I speak and talk to them from the moment that they make the purchase, for instance, or when they have a few or a couple of weeks using the product, I would sum it up as everyone would be different and each one needs just time to adjust to the vibrations. But just maybe it is intuitive, but I would say that it is needed or part of the learning process to play with it so you can learn what the vibration is telling you, because at some point it might be confusing exactly where the vibration is coming from. So you might need just a few moments to maybe close your eyes in your case, for instance, and see exactly where the vibration is coming from.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Great. Any other questions out there from for Pedro? Or Pedro, did you have anything else? I just wanted to. We're right at the 12:30 mark, but I don't want to cut you short by any means.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to share one last a video, because we are really active in our community. So now that in 2 weeks we are gonna, some people have watched us on this show that is called Shark Tank. That's when and now we are showing up in Meet the Drapers. It's in 2 weeks, this show. So they asked us, I think it's Sony channel, they asked us to our users to, send us video. And there was this user who actually made a video of her testimonial. And we actually were really excited about showing this video.
That's cool.
Because she took her time on doing this. So let me just see. But it says that sometimes you cannot hear, right? I'm gonna see if you can.
Yeah, go ahead.
Otherwise,
I'm
I'm just
excited to
going
see this. Go ahead. If we can't hear it, I'll let you know.
Okay.
And while he's doing that, we did have a comment come in. Or maybe,
can you see the screen?
We're still seeing the slide deck, Pedro. If you try the stop share button and then click the share button again, it might make it a little easier. So we have a comment come in here. Every state has an assistive technology center. Is Sunu able to provide these centers for people to try it out before purchasing? So do you have, do any of your distributors have a, or do you have your Sunu bands in any of the state AT Act programs where they have a lending library, or are they in any other lending libraries where people can kind of try?
Yes, actually, each distributor or clinic works differently. Okay. Actually, we cannot truly say yes, they'll have 2 Sunu Band, 3 Sunu Bands, because sometimes they lend it out and so on. But yes, we have that type of program, let's say.
Yeah, great, thank you.
So
we've got your video on the screen now. Fingers crossed the audio works, right?
Hi, I'm Christelle. I live in Dijon, in France, with my husband and my son. And I'm a volunteer, dynamic and sportive. I swim with a club for disabled person. I started to losing my sight 10 years ago, and I use a white can for 8 years. I like to go for a walk alone. I walk perhaps 3 miles every day, but I encounter a lot of obstacles, like open shutters, cars and vans mirrors, and big problem is vehicles who are very poorly parked. And there are trees, branches that I have on my there is on the 8 of my face. I'm tall about 6 feet, so it's a problem to me. The other problem is the person who don't realize that I have a white cane. I like the Sunu Band because it's possible to make a combination with my white can. It's very important to me. I appreciate the Sunu Band because it's connected with my phone. It's very important to me. I like this this type of object. And the most advantage is that it's always in the same place in my wrist. And the other thing is that it's connected with my phone with the settings special. I have now the pleasure to go in places where there are a lot of people. It's a very important thing. I like to go shopping alone because I am very volunteer, and Sunu permit me to do this. I discovered the Sunu Band in July 2019, and it was very important to use it for me. Thanks to Sunu to make this bracelet. It's very important to me. It's good in my life, and it's very easy to use it. There is just 2 buttons, and the setting on the phone, it's okay. Thank you, Sunu.
And I unmute myself. Thank you, Pedro. That was a very good video.
So yeah, she was telling me that her son helped her. So we were like, yeah, nice. It's nice.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting some comments. This is great. And some other good comments in here. So I really appreciate you jumping on and doing this for us today. Thank you all for joining the Tech Huddle. I did put a link to the Sunu website in the chat for those of you that are looking for that. But if you just Google Sunu Band, S-U-N-U band, it will pop up. So Pedro, again, thank you very much for taking the time to do this Tech Huddle today.